The war that the Galactic Council believed would last weeks stretched into months. At first, the invaders thought delays were temporary, that resistance would collapse once enough force was applied. But Earth refused to collapse. Every battle brought surprises. Every setback taught humans new lessons. The Council's commanders, once confident, now argued constantly. Their ships were still stronger, their weapons sharper, but victory did not come. Something was happening on Earth that none of their predictions had prepared them for. The study of alien tech. From the earliest days of battle, humans had captured pieces of alien machines. A fallen drone here, a broken shuttle there, fragments of strange weapons and devices pulled from the sea or deserts. What the aliens considered useless scraps, humans treated as treasures. In secret laboratories across the world, scientists studied the alien technology. They worked without rest, taking apart engines, weapons, and processors. They did not understand everything, but piece by piece they began to learn. One scientist in South America noticed how alien shields bent light. Within weeks, her team designed reflective coatings that confused alien targeting systems. In Asia, engineers discovered how alien metals absorbed heat, and soon new armor designs spread among tanks and jets. In Europe, hackers broke into alien communication channels, turning enemy signals into useful data. What shocked the invaders most was speed. Technologies that should have taken decades for humans to copy were understood within weeks. Humans were not only fighting, they were learning. The ground resistance, while great battles raged in space and sea, on the ground a different war unfolded. Alien soldiers landed in certain regions, expecting to control cities with ease. Their weapons were advanced, their armor thick, their tactics flawless, or so they believed. But humans met them with determination. Civilians guided soldiers through hidden routes. Farmers hid resistance fighters in barns. Children carried messages between units. Entire villages acted as one, refusing to submit. In one mountain valley, a single platoon of alien troops tried to hold control. But every night, humans struck from the shadows. Bridges collapsed, supplies vanished, equipment failed. The aliens soon abandoned the valley, unable to hold it against an enemy that appeared everywhere and nowhere. For the first time, the invaders realized they were not just fighting armies, they were fighting an entire species. The battles of the skies' alien ships still dominated the skies, but humans began to find cracks in their armor. Fighter pilots, once powerless, now flew with new tactics. Guided by hacked alien codes, they launched missiles with uncanny precision. Swarms of drones, built quickly in hidden factories, attacked alien crafts in groups, overwhelming defenses through sheer numbers. One pilot, flying a simple jet far older than any alien craft, managed to destroy 3 enemy ships in one battle. His daring maneuver became legendary across Earth. People whispered his name like a symbol of hope. The aliens called such victories improbable accidents. But accidents kept happening. And with each one, human confidence grew. The frustration of the invaders. In the fleet's command ship, the alien leaders met in anger. This world should have fallen by now, one commander shouted, his scaled fists striking the table. Their weapons are ancient. Their fleets are weak. Why do they still resist? Another replied bitterly. Because they do not fight as we expect. They adapt faster than any species we know. Every tactic we use, they counter within days. Every weakness we exploit, they turn into strength. It is as if they learn war itself as a language. The commanders demanded reinforcements, but the council hesitated. Sending more fleets would mean admitting failure. And many delegates still believed Earth could be crushed with patience. So the invasion continued, with rising losses and no end in sight. Humanity's spirit on Earth. The war had changed people. At first, fear and panic filled the air. But as time passed, courage replaced fear. Neighbors supported each other. Strangers became friends. Nations that once stood as rivals now fought side by side. In ruined cities, people rebuilt even while bombs fell nearby. Schools reopened in basements where children studied even as sirens wailed above. Musicians carried instruments to shelters, filling the dark with songs of hope. Humanity refused to live only in fear. They lived in defiance. One old man, when asked why he still fought, answered simply, "Because this is our home, and no one takes it from us." A bold operation. The turning point came with Operation Dawn, a plan so daring even human generals hesitated. Intelligence showed that a major alien command hub orbited above Earth's equator. It coordinated fleets, supplied troops, and directed attacks. Destroying it seemed impossible, but humans had learned enough to try. Teams of scientists and engineers built a new weapon from captured alien parts, a hybrid missile unlike anything before. Pilots trained secretly, preparing for a mission with little chance of return. On the chosen night, under cover of storms, human jets launched from hidden bases. They flew low, avoiding sensors, then climbed sharply toward the command hub. Alien ships rushed to intercept, but human hackers jammed their signals, confusing them. One pilot carried the hybrid missile, knowing only he could deliver the final strike. He broke through enemy lines, flying faster than his jet was ever designed to fly. With systems failing and alarms screaming, he fired the missile. The explosion lit the sky. The alien command hub shattered, breaking into fire and debris. Across the fleet, alien coordination collapsed. For days, their attacks halted, giving Earth a chance to breathe. The pilot did not return, but his sacrifice became a legend that united billions. The galaxy watches news of Earth's resistance spread beyond the Council. Civilizations across the galaxy heard of humans who fought impossible battles and learned alien science in weeks. Some were inspired. Others grew afraid. Whispers filled the stars. Who are these humans? On Atheron Prime, the Council chamber was restless. Reports described Earth not as a defeated planet, but as a rising threat. Losses mounted, morale sank, and the invasion dragged on with no victory. Councillor Thalen spoke once more. You believed Earth would kneel. Instead, you have taught them war against the galaxy. Every day they grow stronger. Every day they learn. And when this war ends, it is not Earth that will be weaker, it is us. Still, many delegates refused to listen. Pride blinded them. They had never lost to a species so young. They could not accept the thought of defeat. The war without end back on Earth, the war became a rhythm of struggle and triumph. Cities were damaged but rebuilt. Armies were battered but returned. Families mourned losses yet still held hope. Humanity learned to live in war, to bend but never break. The invaders discovered that fear did not control humans. Instead, fear transformed into strength. Each strike only made Earth more united, more determined, more inventive. The war was no longer a simple invasion. It had become something unexpected, a battle of wills. And in that battle, the humans showed no sign of surrender. The Galactic Council had voted to invade Earth, believing it would be easy. Now they faced a reality none of them had imagined. The humans were not falling. The humans were rising, and the galaxy, watching from afar, began to realize the truth. The war for Earth was only the beginning. Months of fighting had transformed Earth. Cities still bore scars of battle, and oceans and forests had been disturbed by the alien presence, but humanity had survived. They had endured the first strikes, adapted to alien tactics, and now they were ready to respond in ways the invaders had not expected. The Council's fleet hovered in orbit, confident yet cautious. They had believed Earth would surrender, then resist weakly and finally accept defeat. But every plan they had made had failed. The humans did not retreat, did not falter, and did not hesitate. Every strategy of intimidation was met with adaptation. Every strike met with clever countermeasures. It was time for humanity to speak. A bold decision leaders from every continent gathered in a secret facility deep underground. Scientists, generals, and diplomats all joined the council. They did not meet to plan another attack. They met to send a message. A message to the aliens and to the galaxy beyond, that Earth was no longer a planet to conquer. Dr. Aisha Khan, a communications expert from Pakistan, stood at the center. She addressed the assembled leaders. We have shown them we can fight. Now we must show them we can speak. We must send a message not of fear but of strength, a message they cannot ignore. The leaders agreed, using the very technology captured from the alien fleet and amplified with Earth's own communication satellites. They prepared a broadcast. It would be sent to every alien vessel in orbit and, if possible, to every major species in the galaxy. This will not be a threat, said General Alvarez of South America. It will be a statement of who we are, who humanity is. The day of the broadcast arrived. The aliens watched curiously as satellites aligned and signals pulsed through space. On Earth, people paused. They did not know if the message would change anything, but they knew it was important. Dr. Khan spoke into the universal translator, her voice calm yet firm. Her words echoed across star systems. You came to us expecting surrender. You came expecting weakness. You thought our divisions would make us easy to control. But you were wrong. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not afraid. Humanity is many nations, many peoples, but we are one when our home is threatened. If you wish to conquer us, you will not find subjects. You will find resistance. You will find courage. You will find ingenuity and determination unlike anything you have seen. Look upon Earth and know this. We fight not for glory, not for conquest, but for life, for family, and for the right to exist. If you attack, you will pay for every inch, and if you leave, you will remember that humans do not kneel. Across the galaxy, ships paused. The words were simple, but their meaning was profound. They carried pride, unity, and a promise. The reaction in the Council fleet, the aliens were stunned. Commanders stared at the screens in silence. They had expected fear in human eyes, trembling voices begging for mercy. Instead, they heard confidence, calm, and resolve. "What is this?" hissed the Vrantel commander. "This is impossible. They are bold." "Yes," replied another. "They do not sound afraid. They sound aware." Counselor Thalen, watching reports from Atheron Prime, finally spoke to the chamber. "I warned you," he said, silver eyes glowing. "They are not weak. They are not predictable. They are learning, adapting, and now they speak with the authority of their spirit. You have awakened a force you do not understand." The council grew restless. Some demanded immediate strikes, while others began to whisper that further attacks might be more dangerous than retreat. The counterattack. The broadcast had a subtle effect on the war. Alien ships hesitated, unsure how to respond. Pilots who had expected easy targets found humans attacking with renewed courage. Using the delay, humanity launched Operation Unity, a coordinated strike across multiple fronts. Space stations captured by the aliens were destroyed. Alien landing craft were disabled in port cities. Submarine teams ambushed fleets attempting to block Earth's oceans. Every move was precise, learned from months of observation and study of alien technology. Humanity did not merely resist, they forced the invaders onto the defensive. In one decisive battle over the Pacific, human forces managed to destroy an entire alien squadron by combining satellite-guided missiles, hacked alien drones, and clever maneuvers by pilots. The invaders had never faced a coordinated attack of such scale and intelligence. Reports flooded the council chamber. Humans are not just surviving, they are controlling the battlefield. The power of unity. The most important element of Earth's strength was not technology nor tactics, but unity. Nations that had once competed now shared knowledge freely. Military intelligence, scientific breakthroughs, and resources flowed across borders. Ordinary citizens became part of the war effort. Teachers turned schools into planning centers. Farmers redirected food to supply troops. Engineers repaired damaged vehicles and modified them to face alien attacks. Even children helped by transmitting messages, warning troops of movements and keeping morale high. The aliens could not comprehend this. They had studied Earth before, expecting chaos and disunity. What they found instead was a species that thrived on collaboration and creativity. One alien officer whispered during a meeting, "They are too organized, too fast, too united. How can a species so weak in appearance be so strong in action?" The turning point. As the battle continued, it became clear that humanity had reached a turning point. The aliens had underestimated them at every step. Every plan of intimidation had failed. Every threat had been met with resilience. Every weakness was turned into strength. Even alien propaganda began to shift. Where they had once broadcast messages of Earth's futility, now reports quietly acknowledged human courage. Some alien civilizations outside the Council began to reconsider the war entirely. The humans did not stop. Operation Unity had taught them something vital. The more they were pushed, the stronger they became. Every strike they suffered became a lesson. Every victory, no matter how small, inspired millions. The message to the galaxy. The broadcast, though originally intended for the invaders, had reached further than expected. Observers across the galaxy witnessed humanity's defiance. Traders, explorers, and diplomats sent reports back to their home worlds. Civilizations that had never interacted with Earth began to study humans carefully. "They are different," one alien diplomat whispered. "They survive everything. They learn faster than anyone we know, and they do not give up." Counselor Thalen's prediction echoed across the galaxy. This is not just a planet fighting for survival. This is a species teaching the galaxy what it means to endure, to unite, and to rise against impossible odds. The resolve of Earth on Earth, after the broadcast and the battles, people felt something change. Hope returned stronger than fear. They had proven that they could fight the Council's armada, survive, and even win. They realized that their unity, courage, and creativity were not weaknesses. They were weapons. Leaders from every nation gathered once more, this time not in panic, but in determination. Their message was simple. The war was far from over, but humanity would no longer wait for the invaders to dictate the terms. They would take the fight to the skies, seas, and beyond. Children who once feared the sound of alarms now learned about strategy and science. Soldiers fought with new confidence, knowing that Earth itself supported every effort. Civilians continued their work, knowing that every small action contributed to the greater struggle. Humanity was no longer just defending their world. They were showing the galaxy that they were a force to be respected. The Council's silence when the Council reconvened. The chamber was silent. Delegates had received reports from the front lines. They had seen the broadcast. They had seen human victories. And they had realized, with growing fear, that Earth was not the easy conquest they had believed. Some delegates whispered about treaties. Others suggested withdrawing entirely. Many could not speak at all, stunned by the resolve of a species they had dismissed as weak. Thalen, watching quietly, only nodded. They have shown the galaxy what humanity can do when united. You will not conquer them because they have already conquered themselves. The silence in the chamber spoke louder than words. For the first time in history, the Council faced a species it could neither intimidate nor ignore. A new era, above Earth, the alien fleet faltered. The humans' message had changed everything. No longer did the invaders see Earth as a planet to crush. They now saw it as a challenge, a puzzle, a species capable of something they had never imagined. And on Earth, people continued to live, fight, and hope. They had sent their message to the galaxy, and it had been heard. Humanity had spoken and the universe had listened. The war was far from over. But one thing was clear, the humans would not surrender. They would not kneel. And the galaxy would never again underestimate the spirit of Earth. The war had dragged on far longer than the Galactic Council ever imagined. Earth, a planet they had expected to conquer in weeks, had resisted for months, even turning the tide in multiple battles. Alien fleets had been slowed, bases destroyed, and technology captured and repurposed by humans. Each day, Earth grew stronger while the invaders grew more frustrated. Above the planet, the alien fleet drifted uncertainly in orbit. Their sensors picked up new weapons, new strategies, and new levels of coordination from humans. For the first time, commanders questioned their mission. Every plan, every calculation had failed. And yet, the humans continued to advance. Humanity's final stand. The final battle was not a single moment, but a series of coordinated strikes across the globe and in space. Human engineers and scientists had perfected their understanding of alien systems. Pilots and soldiers worked together seamlessly, sharing intelligence in real time. Civilians supported the effort with an efficiency that stunned the invaders. The operation was called Phoenix Rising. Its goal was not merely to defend Earth, but to reclaim space, disable alien fleets, and force the invaders to retreat. In the skies over Europe, jets equipped with hybrid human-alien technology darted among enemy ships. Missiles guided by hacked alien navigation systems struck with pinpoint accuracy. Below, automated defense networks protected cities while soldiers moved strategically to counter any landing. Submarines patrolled oceans, ambushing alien craft attempting to enter harbors. It was a war fought on every level: land, air, sea, and space. And humanity had prepared for all of it. The turning point for the aliens, the breaking point, came when their main command ship was attacked. Humans had discovered a critical weakness through months of observation and study. Using a combination of electronic warfare and physical strikes, they managed to disable the alien command hub. The explosion lit the skies across the Atlantic. Alien ships lost coordination. Smaller fleets panicked. Some retreated immediately, while others attempted to regroup, only to face more attacks from human pilots, drones, and missiles. The alien commanders realized what they had underestimated. Humanity did not simply resist, they planned, adapted, and executed with precision. And they had learned faster than any species in the galaxy had before. The retreat. Within days, the alien fleet began a slow, disorganized withdrawal. The invaders had expected Earth to surrender or crumble, but now they faced a species they could not dominate. The Council's armada, once confident, now limped back toward distant staging worlds, battered and demoralized. On Earth, people watched as alien ships left their skies. Children cheered, soldiers hugged each other, and cities erupted in celebration. But leaders warned against complacency. Humanity had won battles, yes, but the war had shown them that the galaxy was vast and threats could return. They would need to remain vigilant. The Galactic Council's shock. When news of the retreat reached HFY, the Council chamber fell silent. Reports streamed in. Human resistance, victories, and the retreat of the invasion fleet. Delegates could not believe the scale of human success. Many had expected a quick victory, a show of dominance. Instead, they faced defeat. Some delegates whispered about treaties, others feared retribution, and some simply could not speak, stunned into silence by the unexpected turn of events. Councillor Thalen, who had warned the Council from the start, remained calm. He looked at the chamber and said quietly, "You underestimated them. You expected fear but found courage. You expected weakness but found strength. And now you have seen why humanity survives." His words hung in the chamber like a heavy cloud. For the first time, the Galactic Council faced a species it could neither intimidate nor ignore. A planet transformed on Earth. The war had changed more than military strategy. It had changed the people themselves. Communities had learned to unite. Scientists, soldiers, and civilians worked together as a single organism. Every victory strengthened the bonds between nations, cultures, and individuals. Cities rebuilt themselves. Schools reopened with lessons on science, strategy, and history of the conflict. Families told stories of bravery. Humans celebrated not only survival but triumph. They had endured the impossible and emerged stronger than ever. Dr. Aisha Khan, who had helped coordinate communications, looked at the skyline of her city. Smoke still rose from some battle sites, but the streets were alive with people working, repairing, and creating. She thought of the broadcast months ago, the message that had startled the invaders, and smiled. Humanity had spoken and the galaxy had listened. The message heard across the stars. The broadcast had not been forgotten. Reports from other star systems showed that humans were now respected, feared, and admired. Traders, explorers, and diplomats across distant planets spoke of Earth not as a weak world but as a rising power. Some civilizations even began offering tentative alliances, recognizing that humans were capable of far more than anyone had expected. On HFY, the Council debated what to do next. Some suggested a second invasion, but the cost would be enormous and success was no longer guaranteed. Others proposed treaties, cautious recognition of human strength. Many simply remained silent, unable to comprehend what had happened. The silence itself was a testament to humanity's victory, humanity's legacy. Even as alien fleets retreated, humanity looked to the future. They had survived a test no other planet had faced. They had learned to fight with courage, adapt with intelligence, and unite against overwhelming odds. The war had left scars, yes, but it had also left lessons. Humans realized that their greatest strength was not weapons or technology, but unity and creativity. They understood that a species could be small in size but immense in will. Leaders addressed their people. The galaxy has learned what we already knew. Humanity is not weak. We do not surrender. And we will continue to grow, to learn, and to protect our home. Let this be a warning and a promise. Earth will never bow to fear, and we will always rise when challenged. A final warning. From distant worlds, other species now watched Earth closely. Some sent messages of respect. Others sent subtle warnings not to provoke humanity again. The Council, once confident in its dominance, now approached diplomacy with caution. For the first time, humans had claimed a voice in galactic affairs, not through conquest but through resilience, intelligence, and courage. Even among the invaders, stories spread. Pilots and soldiers told tales of humans who fought with brilliance and bravery, who learned and adapted faster than anyone could imagine. Across the galaxy, a new understanding took root. Humans were not to be underestimated. The Council's silence. In the Council chamber, silence endured longer than any words. Delegates shifted nervously, staring at one another. The vote to invade Earth, once seen as inevitable, now appeared reckless and naive. Losses had mounted. Reputation was at stake, and yet there was no clear path forward. Humanity had proven itself not as prey, but as a force that could never again be ignored. Councillor Thalen stood once more. The vote is done. The fleet has retreated. The Council is silent because it has seen what I warned it of long ago. This species will not kneel. This species will not surrender. This species will endure, and the galaxy must recognize it. The chamber remained silent. No delegate dared challenge him. For the first time in history, the Council was speechless. A new beginning on Earth, the people celebrated. Their victories were not just military, they were symbolic. Humanity had defended its home against impossible odds. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome overwhelming power. But more importantly, humanity had shown the galaxy that strength was not measured solely by weapons or fleets, but by the spirit of a people willing to fight for their home, their family, and their future. The war had ended, but its legacy would continue. Across the stars, humans were now recognized not as a small primitive species, but as one of the galaxy's rising powers. Their story would inspire generations, not only on Earth but across worlds that had witnessed their courage. And the message was clear. Humanity would never be underestimated again. For centuries, humanity looked up at the stars and dreamed. They dreamed of companions beyond their world, of great alliances, of learning secrets that would unlock the mysteries of the universe. When Earth finally broke free of its own atmosphere and touched the edges of interstellar space, those dreams seemed to come true. The Galactic Council had been watching. It was a union of many advanced civilizations, some thousands of years older than humanity. They had seen countless young races rise, stumble, and sometimes collapse before they could join the greater community of the stars. The Council invited only those who had proven themselves capable of responsibility, stability, and vision. When humanity's representatives were summoned to the Council's Hall of Worlds, people back on Earth celebrated as if they had won the greatest prize in history. Cities lit up with fireworks. Scientists wept with joy, their life's work rewarded. Children were told stories of a future filled with wonders, new technologies, new friends, endless opportunities. But behind the shining words of welcome, darker whispers grew. Some of the older species looked at humanity with unease. Humans were young but fast learners. They had risen from stone tools to starships in mere thousands of years, a blink compared to civilizations that took millions of years to reach the same point. Humans were stubborn, unpredictable, and above all ambitious. The Council chamber itself was a marvel, a vast circular arena suspended in the heart of a station the size of a small moon. The domed ceiling glowed with artificial starlight. Thousands of alien delegates sat in their sections, their appearances as varied as the worlds they came from, scaled, feathered, crystalline, or forms no human had ever imagined. At the center, humanity's first representative, Ambassador Evelyn Grant, stood tall in her simple Navy uniform. Her voice carried with both hope and pride. On behalf of Earth, we thank the Council for this honor. We come not to take, but to share. Humanity believes in cooperation, and we will walk this path with respect for all. Polite applause followed, though not every species joined. One alien delegate, a member of the towering Zorath, leaned close to his allies and muttered in a guttural tone, "They speak of respect, but their eyes look toward conquest. Mark this. They will not remain content." The seeds of suspicion had already been planted. In the first years, Earth thrived within the Council. New trade lanes brought advanced medicines, efficient energy systems, and food from distant worlds. Human scientists exchanged knowledge eagerly, offering fresh ideas in return. Humanity was no longer alone. It was part of something vast, but prosperity was fragile. The first hints of betrayal came quietly. A shipment of medical supplies bound for Earth was mysteriously delayed. A vital mining contract for Earth's colonies was suddenly revoked without explanation. When Ambassador Grant demanded answers, she was told it was a simple administrative error. Yet the errors multiplied. Earth's colonies on the edges of known space found themselves abandoned. Patrol fleets that had once promised protection against raiders no longer appeared. When colonists cried for help, the Council offered sympathy but no action. Back on Earth, leaders began to suspect the truth. The Council had turned its back on them. The betrayal became clear one winter evening when Ambassador Grant was summoned to a private meeting. In a chamber lit by cold blue light, 5 Council leaders faced her. Their faces were unreadable, but their words cut deep. "Humanity's growth is concerning," said the Syrian Chancellor, his voice soft and echoing like wind through glass. "Your kind expands too quickly. You reach beyond your means. The Council must consider balance, and balance demands restraint." Grant frowned. "Restraint? We have followed every law, every agreement. We have shared our discoveries, respected your rules. Why should Earth be punished for succeeding?" The Zorath delegate leaned forward, his eyes burning like embers. "Because your kind does not know when to stop. History has shown us races like yours before, ambitious, restless, unwilling to wait. They burned themselves out, or they tried to burn others with them. The Council will not allow another threat to rise." At last the truth stood revealed. The Council never intended to guide humanity. They intended to chain it. When the news reached Earth, the mood shifted from celebration to fury. The great cities that had once glowed with lights of hope now burned with anger. In New York, thousands gathered under the towering screens that displayed the Council's decrees. A young engineer shouted, "They fear us because we are strong. If they will not share the stars with us, we will carve our own path." In Beijing, crowds chanted together, fists raised. "We will not bow. Earth stands united." In Nairobi, an old farmer who had seen 2 wars in his lifetime told his grandchildren, "Mark my words. We will endure. That is what humans do." The betrayal, instead of breaking humanity, bound it closer than ever before. Leaders of Earth gathered in secret, away from Council eyes. Presidents, generals, scientists, and visionaries sat around a single table, their faces grave but determined. "We trusted them," one admiral said bitterly. "We believed their promises. And now our colonies suffer. Our people starve, while they watch from their golden seats." Ambassador Grant raised her hand, silencing the room. Her voice was steady, though fire burned in her eyes. "Then let us learn from this. The Council fears us because we grow fast, because we adapt, because we do not break. Very well. Let us show them they are right to fear." No one spoke for a long moment. Then slowly, one by one, the leaders nodded. Plans were set in motion that night. Not plans of begging or diplomacy, but of survival, of strength, of defiance. Humanity had been betrayed, but they would not fall. They would prepare. They would endure. And one day, they would rise again. Far above Earth, the stars burned bright and indifferent. The Council thought humanity had been humbled, but in truth, something far more dangerous had been born. Not anger. Not despair. Resolve. Humanity would wait in silence, but not forever. The day would come when the betrayed would return, not as beggars at the Council's door, but as masters of their own destiny. The Council had made its choice, and humanity would never forget. The years after the betrayal were quiet on the surface, but beneath that silence, humanity changed. Earth had always been a planet of dreamers, inventors, and survivors. Now united by loss and betrayal, those qualities sharpened into something the galaxy had never seen before. Where once nations argued, they now worked side by side. Where once resources were wasted, they were saved for a single purpose. The world did not speak of revenge aloud, but in every hidden base, in every secret laboratory, in every shipyard buried in the shadows of asteroids, preparation was underway. Admiral Isaac Moreau stood inside the hidden command center on Luna Base, his hands clasped behind his back. Before him stretched a holographic display of the solar system, with countless tiny dots representing projects scattered across its vastness. "Shipyards operational in Belt Sector 6, reported a young officer. "Prototype cruisers already under construction. Estimated completion in 14 months, Moreau nodded. His once black hair was now streaked with gray, but his eyes remained sharp, carrying the weight of responsibility. "And stealth protocols? Active. No Council sensors have detected any unusual readings. Our energy signatures are masked." Good, Moreau thought. The Council watched the stars with arrogance, but not with detail. They believed Earth was beaten. That arrogance would be their blind spot. Far from Luna Base, in the icy silence of the Kuiper Belt, a secret shipyard glowed faintly against the dark. Massive machines carved entire asteroids into the bones of starships. The humans had learned from the Council's betrayal. No more reliance on others. Every weapon, every engine, every system would be built by human hands. Dr. Aisha Khan, chief engineer of Project Dawn, walked along the scaffolding of a half-complete warship. Her boots clanged softly on the metal. She looked up at the towering vessel, its armor plates layered in strange new alloys. It was not beautiful in the traditional sense, but there was something awe-inspiring about it. This ship, she said to her team, will not just be steel and circuits. It will be a message. Every bolt, every beam, every engine hum will speak of one truth. Humanity does not break. Her words were met with tired but determined smiles. Engineers, welders, scientists, they all worked long hours with little rest. Yet none complained. They all knew why they were here. Meanwhile, on Earth, training centers rose in hidden valleys and under abandoned cities. Young men and women volunteered in droves, not for glory, but for survival. They learned to pilot ships, to fight in zero gravity, to command fleets. Commander Rafael Ortega watched over one such training drill in the Nevada desert. A group of recruits marched before him, their steps uneven, their faces sweating under the sun. "You are not here to be comfortable," Ortega barked. "You are here to be prepared. The Council believes we are weak. Are you weak?" "No, sir," the recruits shouted. "They believe we will bend. Will you bend?" "No, sir." Ortega allowed himself a small smile. They were raw, untested. But they carried something the Council could never understand. A fire that came from being underestimated. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, another project took shape. Submerged laboratories studied alien technology that humanity had salvaged in secret over the years. From scraps of Council drones, from fragments of abandoned satellites, human scientists unraveled secrets of faster-than-light travel, energy shielding, and advanced weaponry. Professor Elena Varga adjusted her glasses as she stared at a glowing core suspended in a chamber of magnetic fields. "The Council gave us nothing willingly," she murmured to her assistant. "But in their arrogance, they left enough crumbs for us to follow." Her assistant nodded nervously. "Do you think it will work?" Varga's lips curled into a smile. "It will not only work, it will surprise them." The Council did not notice at first. Humanity's radio transmissions grew quieter. Trade requests slowed. The humans appeared to be retreating inward, licking their wounds. Most Council leaders dismissed it as the natural decline of an overreaching race. But there were whispers among the outer colonies, whispers the Council ignored. Alien traders who risked illegal journeys spoke of strange human ships seen darting through asteroid fields, of colonies that seemed far too well supplied for a people supposedly cut off, of strange lights moving in formation beyond the reach of Council patrols. "Just stories," scoffed a Zorath commander when these rumors reached him. "Humans are clever talkers. They want to frighten us with shadows, nothing more. But shadows have a way of growing." Back on Earth, Ambassador Evelyn Grant, now older but still unbowed, stood before the leaders of humanity in a secret council chamber beneath Geneva. "For years, we begged for a place among them," she said, her voice strong despite her age. "We believed in trust and cooperation, and they betrayed us. Yet I tell you this, their betrayal was their mistake. For in trying to weaken us, they forged us into something stronger." The chamber fell silent, the words sinking deep into every heart. General Okoye leaned forward. "And when the day comes?" Grant met his gaze. "When the day comes, we will not ask for justice. We will take it." As the years passed, the Iron Dawn Armada grew in secret. Each ship was a blend of human creativity and adapted alien science. They were smaller than the Council's massive dreadnoughts, but faster, more flexible, built for hit-and-run tactics that no alien admiral would expect. Pilots trained not in predictable patterns, but in improvisation. They learned to turn defeat into victory, to use the environment itself as a weapon. They turned asteroid fields into minefields, gravity wells into traps, and silence into the deadliest ambush of all. Humanity was rewriting the rules of war. But it was not just ships and weapons being prepared. Ideas were being prepared too. Across Earth's schools and universities, children were taught a new lesson: never forget. History classes spoke not only of ancient wars, but of the betrayal by the Council. Art and literature carried themes of resilience, unity, and defiance. Even music echoed with tones of endurance. The betrayal became more than a wound. It became an identity. On a quiet night in the asteroid belt, Dr. Aisha Khan stood aboard the first completed battleship of the Iron Dawn Armada. Its engines hummed softly, ready for their first true test. She ran her hand along the cold steel of the command deck, her heart swelling with pride. "Soon," she whispered, "soon the galaxy will see us. Not as victims, not as outcasts, but as survivors, as fighters, as equals." And in the darkness of space, the great ship powered up, its lights flickering like the eyes of a beast waking from slumber. Humanity's silence was almost over. The Council had believed Earth was broken. But what they had really created was an armada born of betrayal, sharpened by patience and fueled by a fire that no galaxy could extinguish. The silent preparation was ending, and soon the storm would begin.